Rylan Pierce stepped out of the shuttle onto mining station E-47, a quiet place floating near the edge of human space. As a security inspector, he had visited many work sites, but this one always felt different, too peaceful, too controlled. Almost unnatural. Workers moved in long lines, carrying heavy containers of ore. Machines hummed softly. Everybody followed the rules, except one. From the corner of his eye, Rylan noticed a small figure walking alone, far from the group. She wore a dark gray hoodie that hid her face and most of her body, while other alien workers looked tired and slow after long hours. This one walked with perfect balance, like her feet barely touched the ground. Her clothes were dusty like theirs, but the way she moved did not match a simple laborer. Rylan frowned. Something was off. He watched her from a distance. She lifted a heavy ore crate, something that normally required 2 workers, and moved it with ease. No strain in her shoulders. No sound of effort. It almost looked graceful. Who was that worker? Rylan asked one of the human supervisors. The supervisor followed his gaze and shrugged. Her. No idea. She never talks. Always keeps the hoodie on. We think she's shy or something. Rylan didn't believe that. Shy workers didn't move like trained soldiers. As he walked deeper into the station, he kept noticing her again and again. She never stayed in one place for long. When he turned a corner, she appeared in a different section, moving silently like a shadow. It felt like she was everywhere and nowhere. Rylan finally focused his wrist scanner on her. No ID detected. No name. No species. Nothing. That alone made Rylan's heartbeat slow down. Every worker was scanned and registered before entering the station. How was she here without a record? He tried following her through the loading zone, but when he reached the end of the corridor, she had already vanished. Only a faint sound of metal shifting in the distance remained. The more he observed her, the more he felt a strange tension. It wasn't fear. Rylan had faced pirates, rogue androids, even alien beasts, but this tension was different. He felt like he was standing very close to a secret one that didn't want to be discovered. Later that evening, Rylan entered the surveillance room. He asked the operator to pull up the hallway footage. Can you track that worker in the gray hoodie? He said. The operator nodded and typed a few commands. Footage played on the screen. The worker walking calmly down the hall. But then, in the very next frame, she was gone. Not blurred, not running. Just missing, as if she had stepped out of existence. What is this? The operator muttered. Rylan leaned closer. Check earlier footage. They tried another angle. Again, she entered the frame, walking normally. A blink later, she vanished. The operator shook his head. No one can move that fast. Cameras don't glitch like this. Rylan felt a cold curiosity settle in his chest. She wasn't normal. She wasn't simple. Something about her didn't belong here. Hours later, the station lights dimmed into night mode. Workers slept in their bunk rooms. Machines slowed down, and the hallways became quiet. Rylan walked alone, thinking about the stranger in the hoodie. He wanted answers. As he passed the maintenance deck, he suddenly heard something. Footsteps. Light and quick, almost silent. He turned and saw her again. The hoodie still covered her face, but he felt her eyes watching him from the shadow of the hood. She paused, standing under a flickering lamp. The light reflected a faint glow from her skin, as if something beneath it shimmered. Rylan took a step forward. You, stop. She didn't run, but she moved back slowly, like a creature that did not want to fight, but also did not want to be seen. She turned into a side hallway. Rylan followed instantly. His boots hit the metal floor loud and heavy, but her steps made no sound at all. He reached the hallway corner within 2 seconds. Empty. No doors. No vents. No places to hide. Yet she had disappeared again. Rylan exhaled slowly. What are you? Before he could think more, The station alarm suddenly rang, a sharp siren echoing through the halls. Workers woke up in panic. Supervisor shouted. Heavy doors sealed. But the hoodie girl was standing calmly in the center of the hallway, not reacting to the alarm at all. She stood perfectly still, like she already knew the alarm was coming. Like she was waiting. Rylan stared at her. For 1 second, their eyes aligned. In that moment, he felt something powerful, something that did not belong to a simple worker. Her hood shadowed her face, but her eyes faintly shined through, bright and unnatural. Then she turned and walked away, leaving him frozen. Rylan understood one thing now. She was hiding. She was powerful. And she was definitely not just a worker. Whatever her secret was, he knew one thing. He had to uncover it before someone else did. The next morning, Raylan walked into the command office with a stiff expression. He had barely slept. His mind kept replaying the moment when the hooded worker stood calmly, while the alarm echoed across the mining station. No fear, no confusion. Almost like she expected it. Rylan knew he needed answers now. He logged into the worker database and searched for her again. No ID found. He checked the station's entry logs. No arrival record. He even scanned old cargo lists. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was as if she had appeared out of thin air. Rylan leaned back, rubbing his forehead. Something was wrong, not just a little wrong, but dangerously wrong. A worker without registration meant either a major security breach or a secret someone was hiding on purpose. He decided to ask the station AI Core 9. Core, Rylan said. Search visually for all workers wearing gray hoodies. The AI responded in its calm metallic voice. Visual match found, however. Identification not possible. Rylan narrowed his eyes. What does that mean? The subject's image does not match any listed biometrics. Face recognition fails. Movement patterns are irregular. Probability. Subject does not belong to registered workforce. Rylan felt a chill. Even the AI couldn't trace her. He replayed the footage from the night before. Again she appeared. Again she vanished. Frame to frame gone like smoke. Rylan zoomed in on her face. The hood's shadow hid everything except a soft blue glow where her eyes should be. That glow felt alien, but not in the usual way. He decided he needed to confront someone who understood alien rumors better than anyone. Security Chief Mara Quinn. Mara had served on frontier planets where strange species often passed by. Rylan found her in the training hall, calibrating weapons. Mara, he said. I need to talk about one of the workers. She glanced at his serious expression. Let me guess. The hooded one? Rylan froze. You've noticed her too? Mara nodded slowly. Everyone notices her, and everyone tries to ignore her. Why? Mara lowered her voice. There's a rumor among the alien workers. They call her the Ghost. Some say she's a hybrid experiment. Some say she escaped from a forbidden empire. Some even claim she can walk through walls. I don't believe myths. But her behavior is not normal. Rylan replied, last night she disappeared in front of a camera. Literally vanished. Mara didn't argue. She simply sighed. Rylan, listen to me. If she is what the rumors say, then you should stay away. Rylan frowned. I can't. Something dangerous is happening. She knows too much, and she's hiding something big. Mara stepped closer, her tone sharp. Then be careful. Ghost-class hybrids are not supposed to exist. If one is here, someone sent her. That thought hit Rylan hard. Who would send someone like her to a mining station? And why hide under a hoodie? Later that afternoon, Rylan visited the cargo bay. Again, workers were sorting metallic crates. Machines beeped. Everything seemed normal. Until he saw her again. She stood near the far end of the bay, holding a scanner in her hand. Other workers operated the machines with loud noise and clumsy movements. But she worked quietly, gracefully, almost silently. The scanner glowed in her hand, but something strange happened. The scanner's display flickered, almost like it couldn't read her either. Rylan moved toward her slowly. The hooded girl sensed him without turning. Her body stiffened, like she knew she was being watched. He said softly, "I just want to talk." No answer. He took another step. "Who are you? Why is your ID missing?" She remained still for a moment. Then she placed the scanner down and turned slightly toward him. Her voice was soft, almost gentle. "Why do you care, Captain?" Rylan swallowed. "Because nothing about you makes sense. Workers don't vanish from cameras. Workers don't lift heavy ore alone. Workers don't have glowing eyes." The girl stayed quiet. Then she whispered, "Maybe I am not supposed to fit in." Her words felt heavy, like they carried a hidden meaning. Before Rylan could question her again, a group of supervisors entered the bay. She instantly pulled her hood lower and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Even in a room full of workers, Raylan's eyes kept losing her. It was like she could blend into shadows. As he watched her vanish again, a realization formed in his mind. She was not avoiding him because she was afraid. She was avoiding him because, if he found the truth, something dangerous might follow. Rylan understood the situation now. He wasn't chasing a worker. He wasn't even chasing a spy. He was chasing a mystery powerful enough to break a station apart. And the deeper he went, the more he felt something else. She was watching him too, carefully, silently, as if she was deciding whether he was an enemy or an ally. Rylan spent the rest of the day watching the hooded girl from a distance. Every time he looked away, she moved to a different section. Every time he tried to follow, she slipped through crowds or turned corners with impossible timing. She wasn't running from him, she was avoiding him with intention. Almost like she didn't want him to see something she was hiding. By evening, his frustration grew. He walked into the station cafeteria, hoping food would calm his thoughts. It didn't. Security Chief Mara Quinn entered behind him and sat opposite his table without asking. Her eyes carried the same tension he felt. "You kept watching her, didn't you?" Mara said. Rylan nodded. Mara leaned forward. "Then listen carefully. The workers told me something today. Something important." Rylan raised an eyebrow. "Another rumor?" "No. A warning." She lowered her voice. "They say the ghost girl once stopped a malfunctioning plasma drill with her bare hands. No burns, no injuries. The machine just shut down. Like it was afraid of her." Rylan frowned. "That's impossible." "That's exactly why I'm telling you." Mara's tone grew hard. "Whatever she is not safe to approach." Rylan looked away, confused. "But she hasn't attacked anyone." "That doesn't matter. Something that powerful doesn't hide for no reason." There was silence for a moment. Mara then continued. "One worker swears he saw her in 2 different places at the same time. Before he could report it, he changed his story. Said he misremembered, but he looked terrified." Rylan felt a cold heaviness settle over him. "So you think she's dangerous?" Mara shook her head. "I think she's in danger. And anyone around her is in danger too." Those words hit Rylan differently, because deep inside, he also felt she wasn't hostile. She didn't move like a predator. She moved like someone constantly checking over her shoulder, someone hiding from something, someone who feared being found. Mara stood up. "Rylan, stop investigating. This station is quiet because no one touches secrets that don't belong to humans." Rylan answered quietly, "But what if this secret hurts people later?" Mara sighed. "Then pray we aren't standing in the blast." She walked away, leaving him more restless than before. Later that night, Rylan walked down the silent corridors alone. The lights were dim, the air felt colder. The hum of machinery echoed through the metal walls. Everything seemed normal until he reached the maintenance corridor. A faint sound like soft breathing came from behind a stack of storage crates. Ryland stopped. Slowly, the hooded girl stepped out from behind the crates. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She simply watched him from under her shadowed hood. Ryland raised his hand slightly. "I'm not here to hurt you." She gave no reaction. "I just need answers," he said gently. "Why are you hiding? Why do you have no ID? Why do the cameras lose you?" Her voice came softly, almost fragile, yet filled with strength. "You shouldn't follow me." Ryland shook his head. "I have to. You're not a normal worker. And whatever you are, you're afraid of something." There was a silence between them. Then she asked, "Why do you care, Captain? Others ignore me." "Because ignoring problems never makes them disappear." For the first time, she lifted her head a little. Raylan still couldn't see her face, but he caught a faint glow in her eyes, a soft blue light, too bright to be natural. She whispered, "If you continue this, you will not just find me. You will attract the ones searching for me." Ryland's breath caught. "Someone is hunting you?" She didn't answer directly. Instead, she stepped closer, and her voice became firmer. "You must stop. This station must stay peaceful. And you must not know who I am." Her words sounded less like a warning and more like a plea. Ryland swallowed. "But I've already seen too much." The hooded girl lowered her head slightly as if disappointed. Then she said something that made Ryland freeze. "Your eyes do not fear me. That is why this is dangerous." "What does that mean?" he asked, but she didn't explain. Suddenly, the emergency lights flickered. A sharp alarm blared across the corridor. "Inbound ship unknown signature. Potential threat detected." Workers began shouting in distant halls. Supervisors ran to their stations, but the girl did not move. She stood perfectly still, her fists tightening under her sleeves. Raylan saw it, the way her breathing changed, the sudden tension in her body. She wasn't surprised. She was expecting this. Rylan whispered, "They came for you, didn't they?" For the first time, she answered without hesitation, "Yes." Then she turned her head slightly, the blue glow in her eyes brightening. "And they will kill anyone who stands between us." Before Rylan could speak, she moved a blur of motion, disappearing into the shadows like she had never existed. Rylan stared into the empty hallway, heart pounding. Now he understood Mara's warning. This was no worker, no myth, no rumor. This was a storm waiting to strike, and he, whether he liked it or not, was now standing in its path. The unknown ship's alarm echoed through every corridor of the mining station. Red lights flashed. Workers ran in panic. Supervisors shouted orders. Mechanical doors slammed shut to lock sections of the station. But Rylan wasn't running. He moved with purpose. He knew exactly who the ship was here for. As he reached the lower maintenance deck, he saw her again, the hooded girl, standing alone in a silent hallway, far from the workers. Her head was bowed, hands clenched tightly at her sides. She looked calm. Too calm for someone being hunted. Raylan stopped a few meters away. "You knew they were coming," he said quietly. She didn't. "Look up." "Yes. Who are they?" Her voice trembled slightly, but her body stayed still. "The ones who want to control me, or destroy me." Raylan took a slow breath. "Then talk to me. Let me help." She lifted her head just enough for the blue glow of her eyes to show under the hood. "No human should help me. It is forbidden." Rylan stepped forward. "By who?" She turned away. "By everyone who fears what I am." The station shook suddenly, boom, like something massive latched onto the outer hull. Emergency lights went darker. Distant screams echoed. The enemy had boarded. Raylan felt his heart race. He had seconds, maybe minutes, before they reached this area. "Look," he said firmly. "I don't care what rules your people follow. I don't care what myths you're running from. I need to know the truth." Still facing away, she whispered, "If I remove my hood, your life will change." "That doesn't scare me. It should." She slowly turned toward him. Raylan could see her hands shaking, not from fear, but from some heavy emotional conflict. Like she didn't want to involve him in this, but it was too late. Their lives had already crossed. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed from the far corridor, metallic boots. Too synchronized to be human workers. They were getting closer. Raylan's instinct screamed at him. They're coming for her. And they will kill him too. He stepped between her and the approaching footsteps. "If they want you," he said, "they go through me first." Her breath caught in surprise. "Why would you do that?" "Because I don't like bullies," Raylan said. "And because you're clearly not the monster they think you are." Her hooded face tilted slightly, almost like she wanted to believe his words. But then, metallic thud. A tall armored figure stepped into the hallway, dark violet. Armor, glowing sigils, a helmet shaped like a blade. Behind him, two more soldiers marched like shadows. Their weapons hummed with energy. One pointed a scanner at the girl. "Immediate priority. Target located." Raylan's blood turned cold. The girl whispered, "Please move. If they think you're protecting me," the lead soldier raised his weapon. She reacted instantly. She grabbed Raylan's arm and pulled him behind her. It wasn't strength alone. She moved with impossible speed, almost blurring for a moment. The soldiers stopped, startled. The girl sighed, as if making a painful decision. "Captain," she said softly, "I told you not to see me." Slowly, she lifted her hands to her hood. Raylan felt time slow down. She pulled the hood back, and everything changed. Her hair fell out like glowing silver threads. Her skin shimmered with light markings, shifting like moving constellations. Her eyes, no longer faint, now glowed a bright, powerful blue that lit the whole corridor. She wasn't a worker. She wasn't even a normal alien. She was something royal, something dangerous, something the soldiers clearly feared. Because the moment her face was revealed, all three soldiers froze. One stepped back. One lowered his weapon by instinct. The leader spoke in a sharp, shaken voice. "Princess Liara, you were ordered to remain hidden." Raylan's heartbeat stopped. Princess? This girl was a princess? Liara looked down, almost ashamed. "I do not follow their orders anymore." The leader's voice hardened. "Then you leave us no choice." Liara stepped forward slightly, placing herself between Raylan and the soldiers. "Touch him," she warned softly, "and I will break your armor." Her tone was calm, but carried a weight that made even the soldiers hesitate. Raylan had never heard a voice like that, quiet, elegant, but filled with a power that could crush steel. The soldiers raised their weapons anyway. Liara whispered only one word: "Enough." A pulse of blue energy burst from her body, silent, bright, controlled. The soldiers were thrown back against the walls, weapons sparking as they hit the floor. Liara exhaled deeply, her shoulders shaking. She turned to Raylan. "This is why you should not have followed me," she said softly. "Now they know you are with me." Raylan stared at her glowing eyes, his confusion replaced by determination. "Then I guess I'm not leaving your side," he said. Liara looked at him for a long moment, surprised, conflicted, and maybe relieved. Outside the hallway, more footsteps approached. Dozens this time. The hunt wasn't over. It was just beginning. Raylan had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but nothing prepared him for the glowing girl standing in front of him. Princess Liara. The silver blue light from her hair and skin painted the hallway like a quiet storm. She looked powerful, but also deeply sad, like someone carrying a weight no one else could understand. The fallen soldiers groaned on the floor. Their armor cracked from her energy burst. Sparks shot out from their damaged weapons. Liara turned away from them, pressing her palm gently against the wall to steady herself. Raylan noticed her breathing, controlled but heavy, as if she had been holding that power inside for too long. "Princess?" he whispered, still struggling to believe it. Liara didn't look at him. "Do not call me that. Not here." "Then what am I supposed to call you?" She finally turned toward him. In the dim red emergency lights, her blue eyes glowed like stars reflected in deep water. "Call me nothing," she said softly. "My name brings danger." Ryland shook his head. "Your people sent soldiers to hunt you." "Why?" Liara closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, the glow dimmed slightly, as if she was trying to hide the sadness behind it. "My empire does not allow weakness," she said. "And they believe I am broken." Ryland stared at her. "Broken? You just threw 3 armored soldiers across a hallway." Liara gave a small, humorless smile. "Power is not strength, Captain. Strength is choosing peace when everyone expects you to choose war." Raylan felt something shift in the air, like her words carried a history she rarely spoke about. She stepped closer, her voice soft but steady. "I was trained since childhood to become a weapon, a ruler built for conflict. Every lesson I learned was about destroying enemies, not understanding them." Her hands shook slightly, just enough for Raylan to notice. "But I could not follow those lessons," she whispered. "I did not want to be feared. I wanted to be free." Ryland's eyes softened. "So you ran?" Liara nodded slowly. "I escaped during a secret ceremony. Left everything behind: my title, my family name, my empire." She looked away, her voice cracking. "I came here to hide, to work among simple people, to learn how to live without hurting anyone." Rylan felt a surge of sympathy. She didn't look like a princess now, she looked like someone who had spent too long pretending to be small. "But your people found you," he said. Lyra's jaw tightened. "They always find me. And when they do, they erase anyone who helped me." That sentence hit Rylan like a punch. He stepped closer. "Listen, whatever you're running from, you're not alone anymore." Liara looked at him, shocked, like she had never heard such words before. "You do not know what you're saying," she whispered. "If they report your involvement, humans will be marked as traitors to my empire. They will send ships, armies." "They will," Rylan cut her off gently. "I'm a human. We don't let people get hunted without asking why." Liara stared at him, truly stared, the glow in her eyes softening, turning almost warm. She looked like someone experiencing kindness for the first time. But their moment didn't last. A sudden boom shook the station again. The lights flickered. Dust fell from the vents. Heavy footsteps echoed from the far hallway, dozens of soldiers this time. Liara stiffened. "They are sending the Royal Guard now. Their orders will be absolute." Raylan's hand moved to the pistol on his hip. "Then we fight." "No," Liara said sharply. "You cannot face them. You will die." "And you won't?" Rylan asked. Liara looked down at her hands, the energy still softly glowing beneath her skin. "I can fight," she said. "But every time I use my power, they track me more easily. I cannot win like this." Rylan understood immediately. She wasn't afraid of losing. She was afraid of becoming the weapon they wanted her to be. He touched her shoulder gently. "Then let's run." Her eyes widened. "Run? There's an emergency escape tram 2 levels below. If we reach it, we can leave the mining ring before the guards seal the decks." Liara hesitated. "If we escape together, the danger will follow you forever." Rylan gave a tired smile. "I've survived worse. Besides, someone has to protect you." She looked at him, and something inside her changed. A small hope. A fragile trust. "Very well," she whispered. "I will follow you." But before they could move, one of the injured soldiers groaned and lifted his helmet. "Princess, your duty is the Empire," he spat weakly. "You cannot choose a human." Liara turned toward him, her expression not angry, but deeply sad. "I can choose peace," she said. even if no one else does. The soldier collapsed again. Liara stepped beside Rylan, and for the first time since they met, she said, "Lead the way, Captain. I am ready." Rylan guided Liara through a narrow service tunnel beneath the mining station. The ceiling shook with every impact as enemy soldiers landed in different sectors. Warning lights blinked in long red streaks, painting the tunnel like a beating heart. Liara walked silently behind him, no longer hiding, no longer pretending. Her hood was gone, her glowing hair flowing freely, casting small reflections along the metal walls. Even in danger, she moved gracefully, almost weightless, but something about her felt fragile. "Keep low," Rylan whispered. "If the Royal Guard scans this area, they'll trap us." Liara nodded, but her mind seemed far away, heavy with unspoken thoughts. After a few minutes, they reached a maintenance lift. Rylan pressed his wrist device against the panel, bypassing security. The lift opened with a soft hiss. Both stepped inside. The doors clamped shut, but as the lift descended, Raylan noticed her staring at the floor, lost in thought. "You're too quiet," Raylan said gently. "What's wrong?" Liara looked up slowly. Her eyes glowed, but the light inside them felt dimmer like a star fading. "I did not want this," she said. "I never wanted violence to follow me here." Rylan leaned against the metal wall. "You didn't bring violence." "They brought it." Liara shook her head. "No, my existence brings it." She paused before continuing, voice trembling. "My empire fears that I carry something dangerous. A power that could change everything." Rylan folded his arms. "You already showed you're powerful, but that's not dangerous. That's just an ability." She stepped closer, her face serious. "Then you don't understand. My power is not just strength. It is connection." Raylan frowned slightly. Liara raised her hand. A soft blue wave, gentle and warm, spread from her palm. The lift's flickering lights steadied, then glowed brighter. The metal walls shimmered as if reacting to her touch. "Energy responds to me," she whispered. "Machines change because of me. Even living beings feel my presence." Raylan felt something, then a strange calmness spreading through him, like a quiet voice whispering that everything would be okay. He blinked. "What was that?" Liara lowered her hand quickly. "I am sorry. It happens on its own when I am honest." Raylan touched his chest, surprised that his fear had suddenly vanished. "That explains why you could disappear from cameras. Why scanners couldn't read you. Why machines acted strange around you." Liara nodded slowly. "My power bends energy. I can hide. I can amplify forces. I can even calm emotions. But because my powers change things, my empire wants to control me." She turned away, her voice cracking slightly. "Princesses are meant to command armies, not alter the universe around them. They see me as a threat, or a tool." Rylan understood now. She hadn't been hiding because she was weak. She was hiding because she was too strong, and too gentle for the role they forced on her. "Liara," he said softly, "you're not dangerous. You're trying to help people." She gave a bitter smile. "But the Empire doesn't want help. They want dominance. They want a princess who can win wars, not a princess who wants peace." The lift slowed, humming softly as it reached a lower level. Rylan took a deep breath. "So, what happens if they catch you?" Liara hesitated. "Then," she answered with painful honesty, "they will erase my memory. Rewrite it. Turn me into the weapon they always wanted." Raylan felt anger rise inside him. "And what happens to the humans who helped you?" Liara met his eyes. "Your world would be marked as a future conquest." Silence filled the lift, but instead of fear, Rylan felt something else. Resolved. He stepped forward. "Then we make sure they don't catch you." Liara blinked in surprise. "Why would you risk your world for me?" Raylan gave a small, tired smile. "Because humans have a strange habit. When we see someone being hunted for wanting peace, we protect them. Lyra's expression softened, truly softened. A small emotional tremor appeared in her voice. No one has ever said that to me, she whispered. Before Rylan could reply, the lift doors opened. A burst of cold air rushed in. Darkness stretched down the hallway, broken only by distant flickering lights. But the moment they stepped out, a loud clang echoed behind them. The lift doors slammed shut. Heavy boots echoed. From the far end of the corridor, Lyra's eyes widened. They are here. Rylan pulled out his pistol. Then stay behind me. But Lyra gently placed her glowing hand on his weapon. The metal bent slightly under her touch and cooled. Captain, she said softly, your weapon will not stop them, only choices will. She stepped beside him, her light growing stronger. This time, she wasn't hiding it, and she wouldn't run alone. The corridor stretched out in front of them, dark, cold, and silent, except for the distant thunder of armored boots. Lyra's glowing eyes reflected off the metal walls as she stepped beside Rylan, no longer hiding who she was. No longer pretending to be a worker. No longer alone. Rylan kept his pistol lowered, but ready. He knew the weapon was almost useless against the Royal Guard, but he also knew he wouldn't drop it. Humans didn't surrender easily. Lyra looked at him, her expression soft but worried. You should not be here, she whispered. Not after everything I told you. And leave you alone with soldiers who want to erase your mind? Rylan shook his head. Not happening. Lyra looked down, touched in a way she didn't fully understand. You are very strange for a human, Rylan smirked. I get that. A lot. Before they could speak more, a new sound rose from the far end of the hallway, metal grinding, heavy armor clashing, synchronized footsteps. Not just soldiers. Dozens, maybe more. Lyra inhaled sharply. They sent the full retrieval squad. Rylan's grip tightened. Then we move, now. They sprinted down the corridor. Lyra's glowing hair trailed behind her like a ribbon of blue fire. The lights flickered in her presence. Pipes thrummed as her energy resonated with the station systems. She wasn't trying to control it. The station itself simply responded to her nature. They reached the emergency tram platform, a long, narrow chamber with a single escape shuttle waiting at the end. But just as they stepped inside, boom! The door behind them exploded inward. Royal Guards flooded the platform, armored, disciplined, unstoppable. Their armor was marked with a royal crest, a sharp, spiraling sigil that glowed with the same blue shade as Lyra's eyes. One guard stepped forward, helmet retracting to reveal a hard, pale face. Princess Lyra of the 7th Dominion. He announced loudly, you will surrender immediately. Lyra stepped in front of Rylan like a shield. I will not return, she said firmly. I choose my path now. The guard's eyes narrowed. You choose nothing. The Empire decides for you. Rylan couldn't stop himself. Yeah? Well, this Empire sounds like trash. Every guard pointed their weapon at him at once. Lyra's heart jumped in panic. Do not touch him. But the guard only laughed coldly. You protect a human now? Pathetic. Rylan raised his pistol. Come closer and you'll see pathetic. The guard ignored him and spoke only to Lyra. You are a living weapon. Your power belongs to the Empire. Lyra trembled not from fear, but from anger. I am not a weapon. I am not property. Her eyes flared brighter. The air around her shifted. Machines hummed. The entire platform felt alive. The guards hesitated, but only for a moment. The leader raised his arm. Take her. Kill the human. Lyra didn't wait. She moved. A wave of blue energy burst from her hand, silent, soft, but powerful enough to send the first row of guards flying back like dolls. Weapons short-circuited. Lights shattered overhead. Rylan shielded his face from the sparks, amazed. He thought she was strong before, but this. This was something else. More guards charged forward. Liara reached for Ryland's arm. "We must go, now!" They ran toward the escape shuttle. As they neared the door, Liara turned back and lifted both hands. Energy rippled outward like glowing wind, bending the air around her. The metal floor beneath the guards shook violently. Throwing them off balance. The shuttle doors slid open. Ryland jumped inside. Liara paused just for a second to look back at her pursuers. The guards stared at her with fear and awe. She looked at them with sadness, not hatred. "I hope one day you understand," she whispered. And then she stepped into the shuttle. The doors sealed. Ryland slammed the launch controls. "Hold on." The engines roared as the shuttle tore away. From the platform, through the window, they saw the guards shrinking into the distance, their silhouettes swallowed by smoke and flashing lights. The mining station faded behind them. Silence filled the small cabin. Ryland leaned back, breathing hard. "We made it, I think." Liara sat across from him, her glow slowly fading into a soft shimmer. She looked exhausted, but relieved. And for the first time, she allowed herself a small smile. "You helped me escape," she said quietly. "No one has ever done that," Ryland shrugged. "Guess humans aren't so weak after all." Liara tilted her head, studying him. "I never thought humans were weak, only unpredictable. And now?" Ryland asked. Liara looked out the window at the stars stretching across space. "Now," she whispered, "I am free. But I cannot stay free alone." She turned back to him. "Captain Ryland Pierce, will you help me find a place where my power is not feared?" Ryland didn't hesitate. "Yeah," he said softly. "We'll find it. Together." Liara smiled, a warm, grateful smile that lit up the entire shuttle. And so began a new alliance, not between a princess and a soldier, not between an empire and a human, but between two souls who chose peace in a galaxy built on fear. Their journey had just begun, and somewhere out in the stars, the empire would soon learn that the human they underestimated had become the one thing. They could not control an ally to the princess they had lost.